You know, usually ownership feels completely like black and white. You pay the money, you hold the title, and the government says, yep, that is yours.
Right. You either own it or you're just renting it. There's no in between.
Exactly. But in Mexican corporate finance, there's this highly sophisticated tool called arrendamiento financiero, or financial leasing. And it wonderfully blurs that line.
Oh, absolutely. It allows you to massively upgrade your business assets without actually draining your cash to buy them outright.
Which is huge. So welcome to today's deep dive, everyone. We are exploring a comprehensive guide on this exact strategy.
Think of it as a shortcut to mastering, one of Mexico's most efficient financial tools. Whether you're actively scaling a business or just trying to sharpen your financial literacy, this structure kind of flips traditional ownership on its head.
Okay, let's unpack this. To really grasp the benefit here, we first have to understand its split personality under the law.
Yeah, that dual reality is the absolute core of how this works.
I like to think of it like adopting a pet. The animal shelter's name might still be on the microchip paperwork initially.
But you are the one feeding the dog, paying the vet bills, getting all the joy out of having a dog.
Right. So the law essentially treats it as your dog.
Precisely. Under Mexico's mercantile laws, the LGTOC, the lesser so the bank or leasing company, they remain the absolute legal owner of the machinery. But you, the lessee, you assume all the risks and benefits of using it.
But fiscally, it's a completely different story.
A total different story. Under Article 15 of the Federal Tax Code, the CFF, the tax authority, the SAT, actually considers this transaction a sale, an enajenation from the exact second you sign the contract.
Wait, so what does this all mean? If the bank legally owns the equipment, why on earth would the tax authority give me the ownership benefits?
Well, I mean, the SAT usually wants to maximize tax revenue, right?
Yeah, they don't usually hand out perks for things I don't technically own.
True, but they also want to stimulate the economy. By treating it as a sale, the government is intentionally encouraging businesses to invest in better equipment.
Ah, so they're trading immediate tax revenue for long-term economic growth.
Exactly. The asset magically leaves the lessor's balance sheet and enters yours, unlocking what's called the escudo fiscal, or tax shield.
So because the SAT views you as the owner, they just hand you the owner's tax perks.
Yeah, and it completely alters your cash flow. You actually get a triple benefit here. First, 100% depreciation deduction based on maximum income tax rates right from day one.
Wow, from day one.
Yep, completely independent of the actual payments you've made. Second, the interest portion of your monthly payment is fully deductible as a financial expense as it accrues.
If you're listening to this and thinking like, this sounds like a massive loophole the tax authorities would want to close, just remember, this is an intentional feature of the tax code.
Right, it's designed to keep your money working. Which brings us to the third benefit, which is VAT deferral.
Instead of paying the full VAT up front like you would in a cash purchase.
Exactly. You only credit the VAT incrementally as you make those monthly lease payments. It vastly improves your month-to-month cash flow.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though. So you've gotten the tax breaks, you use the asset for years, but eventually the contract ends.
Yeah, and when the contract matures, you are legally obligated to choose one of three terminal options.
Okay, what are they?
You can buy the asset at a much lower residual value. You can extend the lease with substantially lower rent. Or, and this is really unique, you can take a cut of the profits if the asset is sold to a third party.
Wait, how does the third option even work? If the bank sells it, why do I get a cut?
Well, because over the term of the lease, your payments have essentially covered the depreciation and the financing costs. You have basically paid down the asset's value.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so if the lessor turns around and sells it to someone else, you are entitled to a percentage of that sale price. It's fundamentally different from arrendamiento puro, a pure lease.
Because a pure lease is strictly use and return.
Exactly. Whereas financial leasing is use and acquire.
Let's ground this in a real-world strategy. Companies are using this to fund entire electric vehicle fleets or massive solar panel installations.
That is where the strategy really shines. With an EV fleet or solar panels, you have significant operational savings.
Because you aren't buying gas and you aren't paying massive electricity bills.
Right. Those monthly operational savings essentially pay for the lease itself. You preserve your working capital, and you mitigate obsolescence because you aren't locked into owning rapidly aging tech outright.
I mean, financial leasing really is a masterclass in using legal fictions for tangible business growth,
It is a brilliantly designed mechanism. You get the operational benefits of the asset and the tax benefits of full ownership.
all while holding on to your actual cash. It makes you wonder, though, if a country's tax code can magically transform a leased asset into full ownership on paper, what other everyday financial realities are actually just clever legal fictions waiting for you to leverage them? Think about that.